Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this Monday's Wealth Creation Show. And today we are going to be talking about turning your ambition into income. Now, we spoke last week a lot about drivers and the drivers for motivation and things as well. So I think this follows on from it quite well about how your ambition and achieving your ambition, you could monetize it and really turning your ambition into income, which is what we're going to cover today. And we'll probably digress into other things, which is obviously what we do. But what's your point view on this, Jim?
Look what Taylor Swift did with her ambition.
Yeah, I know.
There you go, billionaire. Just like that. It wasn't just like that. She was doing everything from, I think, like 6 or 7 year old. I was reading about her back, because I'm always interested in people's journeys, and it's like, because this doesn't just happen overnight. There's a reason why this has come to where it has come to right now for Taylor Swift, especially.
Mhm.
So I always make sure I look into that and find out exactly what's going on, how it's happened for them overall. And I tell you what, some journey. Her mother and father was in investments and that, and he gave up completely. The move to Nashville to pursue her country music career. Every single record company actually knocked her back originally. The demo dates all knocked her back. And then she decided to do her own thing, decided to do their own thing and do their own stuff. So everything she does now is all in-house. So she's built an empire which she earns and retains most of that income. And for people on that scale, that grand scale, that's the kind of thing you want to do. Whereas if you're on a smaller scale, you want to really outsource everything. So you're not carrying all these additional costs all the time, every time, even though you don't need them. So there's this is all about again turning your ambition into income, but you have to understand at what point you should do certain things in order to do that. But it all has to start somewhere, and it really, for me personally, it all starts with a plan, a goal, an achievement. What do you want to actually get out of this? Where do you want to be in this? Where do you want to be in 5 and 10 years' time? And I know everybody keeps saying this all the time, but at what point are you going to do it? And I'm talking about everybody tuning in and listening in right now. At what point are you actually going to do something? You could read books and you could listen to people. You can go to events. You could have mentors, and they could tell you everything to do. And yeah. But unless you actually physically do something and take action, you're just going to be where you are right now in a year's time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. It's absolutely crazy.
I'm smiling because it resonates, and we talk about this a lot, Jim, off camera and like between ourselves and things, because we're at totally completely different stages of life and journey and things as well. And obviously,
you're trying to say I'm older,
just slightly.
20 years older.
You need to have that ambition, but you need to always have that point where, like you say, you have to actually take action and turn your ambitions into something and have that driver. So
yeah, definitely. It is. I think personally, you have to have a deep down burning desire to be better or achieve something greater than you are right now.
Yeah, would agree.
Incidentally, somebody actually, was communicating with me the weekend, and I says, I genuinely think I'm destined for greater things. Know that I'm enjoying myself doing what I'm doing right now, and I tell you what, it pays well. But there's something in my mind that just says, I'm probably destined for greater things, and I just keep preparing myself for that point in time. And whether that appears or no, it doesn't matter. But at least when I'm lying on my deathbed and thinking, have I utilized everything, every opportunity I've had? The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, and that also is your own self belief, and if you really need to have your own self belief, or if you cast doubt on yourself and kind of hold yourself back, you're never going to make that.
I spoke to someone last week about this. I said, I think you could be great at that. You could be great. You could do great things. I've got really high hopes for you in terms of what you're doing. Not high expectations, but I think you could go all the way. And he says, thanks very much for your faith in me. I just need to get faith in myself. And I was like, what? Can you not see it? Can you not see what I see? It's like, wow. That person actually says it. I just have to have faith in myself, and wow. And I suppose when I
Yeah.
can definitely relate to that. You don't really have faith in yourself because you're constantly beat down by the system. And the system's the education system, your peers, everybody round about you, even your work colleagues, and God, even sometimes your friends. You know,
Yeah.
who needs friends when you've got people pull you down all the time? But they don't realise they're doing it. They think they're doing it for the benefit of helping you. Oh, what about this and what about that, and warn you about stuff. It's like, oh, I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't do this, and you better not do that because this might happen. And it's like, well, wait a minute. It's like nothing's happened yet. I've not done anything, and you're putting me off this journey already. Where's your positivity here?
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing. People are quick to judge and quick to react without getting the full story. Here's a classic example. I've got a car parking ticket for Glastonbury. I have now got a camper van ticket for Glastonbury, so I don't need the car parking ticket. I'll go into social media on the Glasgow chat pages and say, I've got a ticket available for anybody that wants to have it, but all I need you to do is prove to me that you make a contribution to one of Glastonbury's charities, which is WaterAid, Oxfam, Shelter, or Greenpeace. I says, all you need to do is prove to me that you've made a similar contribution to there, and that ticket will be yours. Somebody come on and goes, I think this is a scam. What? What am I trying to scam somebody out of? What? I'm getting nothing out of it.
I think people are just that a wee bit kind of that minded because
well, so I actually went back and gave, in that instance, I actually just gave them a full pelt. That's not like me. And then they read the post and they went, "Oh, I'm really sorry for that. I didn't realise." And it's like, why do you not just read the post? It was literally just 2 or 3 lines.
Too quick
this
to
is
judge.
why people are quick to judge before they get the full picture. That's the key, and this is the type of things you have to watch out for. Quick to jump to expectations. I'll give you a classic example of this one, and you know the answer to this, Richard, but I want everybody else to think about this. How many animals did Noah? No, that's the wrong question. No, I'm going to keep that for later. Yeah, I'm going to keep that one for later. Actually, how many animals? No, keep this one for later, and we'll come back. We'll come back to that. We'll say it later on. Remind me of it later on, because I kind of want to get it right before I say it. Okay. So turn your ambition to income. This is all about driving it forward, and it's good to see people actually engaging with this. It's good to see some comments coming up as well. If anybody's got a question or they've got any remarks to say, your TikTokers might have remarks to say, but some of them might be completely irrelevant to what we're talking about now. But if you really want to achieve something, this is the type of things you have to do.
Do you know what's really interesting about TikTok is that depending on the topic, like the title that I put in, sometimes you don't get a lot of characters. You can put, and depending on what the title is we're speaking about, there's sometimes a lot of negative feedback because all they do is read the heading and don't listen to what we're talking about.
Jump to conclusions.
That's a prime example of that.
The jump to conclusions.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right, Jim, about the whole self-belief thing and things as well. And I speak to people quite a lot who are actually really good at what they do, and they don't realise they are, or they have like that imposter syndrome thing, and that holds them back as well. Been there myself, and I'm sure you have it sometime in a stage in your life as well, Jim. It's just natural to feel like that, but don't let it hold you back. There are
stage in my life.
Well,
Am I going to find out I'm getting put in a home or something next week?
I am 20 years younger than you, though, so it's totally different. You've got a lot more experience, life experience than me. Doesn't mean you're old, right?
Thank you just for qualifying that. It's like, what the heck? I feel old. It's like I hurt myself at the weekend just because I twisted my ankle. Just moving casually, and I thought to myself, oh my God. And everybody kept saying, could you hurt yourself? Ah, it's just your age. What? Sorry, it's... Stop going on about my age. It's like when you get to this age, honestly, anybody out there that doesn't understand, anybody out there that isn't my age, is 57, will realise when you get to this age, you actually still think you're 21 or you're in your 20s or something like that. Mentally, you don't actually realise that your body can't cope until your body can't cope, and then you think to yourself, "How is that?" And then that's where you get the classic answer, "Oh well, it's just your age."
Yeah. Do you know, I'm guilty of that myself. Obviously, I'm 37, so approaching 40. And some days, like, I've got my knee and this and things, and I need to get myself out of that mindset because I know that in 20 years' time, I'm going to think, God, I wish I was that age again. And because I put myself down thinking, God, you know, I'm unfit, I've got a sore knee, I've got this or
Pushing 40. As if you said that as almost if that's it. It's all over.
Well, no, but that's my scary age. That's my scary age 40. So we'll see. But anyway, but yeah, as we say, look, there's an abundance of really hungry investors and entrepreneurs and people who dream about really building their own success, a successful business, maybe becoming a millionaire. Do you know, living life on their own terms without restrictions, being their own boss. And that really unwavering ambition is the fuel that drives people to succeed. And successful people really use that ambition to become the best in the world at what they do, and invest their time and their energy and their money wisely. So I broke down a few things for us to kind of topics just for us to kind of lead the conversation today, and how people focus their ambition on certain principles, and it really does drastically increase their income, and helps them achieve their wildest dreams if they apply themselves correctly. And the first one is, it comes down to your mindset, and it's about thinking. It's I titled it, I wrote down "Start Rich," and what I mean by that is it's all about your mindset. Do you know?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah,
fake it till you make it. That's what most people say. And this thing about fake it till you make it is absolutely true. It's see how, when I started at the beginning, I believe I am destined for greater things.
Yeah,
that's fake it till you make it. It's like you're whatever. Your mind is a computer. Your mind is effectively just another computer. And what happens is when you put something into your mind, it processes it and it thinks it's real. Whether it's not or no is a different story. It thinks it's real because you're putting it into your mind, and then it comes out with the desired result. So the old expression "garbage in, garbage out" is absolutely true. The more you think negatively, the more negative your mind becomes, and the more negative output you get as a result of that. And then you become cynical, and then you become paranoid, and then the next minute it's like nobody comes near you, and then you think, why is nobody coming near me? And it's like, because you're thinking stinking. That's really what it is. Stinking thinking. You need a checkup from the neck up.
It's the whole thing about people having that. We spoke about the penny pinching and the broke mentality and that approach to property investment and things as well. Do you know, if you think like that, then that's how it's going to play out. Whereas if you think completely differently, it's going to play out differently as well. It's all about.
It's difficult to understand. You talked about broke mentality. This is a difficult one to understand, and we deal with people every day. And you know, one of the people I was dealing with is like, you know, trying to save me £5 or £6 on my mobile phone bill, and it's like, and I'm like, I have to phone you because I've run out of data. And the phoning you is actually costing me an absolute fortune because I've run out of data. I would rather just spend the extra 20 quid a month and be on the 83 countries, unlimited data, unlimited text, unlimited calls, and unlimited everything in 83 countries around the world. That's the most you can ever get. Just put me on that package. Because if I have to phone or anything or get anything in the middle of nowhere, the amount of time and effort it costs me to do that is way beyond that. I could lose thousands in that time being diverted. So as far as I'm concerned, just get one the biggest package possible. So, you know, I just thought, I'm just going to get on with it and get it done. I've had this problem with Vodafone over the last 2 years. I hate to say it, and they seem to have a problem with their systems when they've changed over. And I've been a customer for over 30 years, and then they're still saying, "Oh well, you've not got authority to change their account." It's like, well, wait a minute, it's my number and it's my phone, it's my name, it's on it. Why would I know have authority? So who has authority? Oh well, we don't know because nobody's got the right level. See how these things can change. This is why I inherently do not like change, because change means other things round about come out with different results. This is the whole thing about the start rich, garbage in, garbage out, the mentality, fake it till you make it. If you start to change things in your life, then things will change in your life.
It's going to have a knock-on effect,
Yeah. So if you change things for the positive, things in your life are going to change for the positive. If you change for the negative, things in your life are going to change for the negative. So this is all about, you need to feel that person. You need to be that person. Is it Brad Pitt? Or something like that actually said, who do I want to be in the next? Oh, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey, yeah.
Who do I look up to? And he says, I look up to the person I will be in 10 years' time. The person I want to be in 10 years' time is the person I look up to. The person I want to be is that person. Now, why do I do that? Because it will make me think to myself, what do I need to do to be that person in 10 years' time? This is what fake it till you make it, start feeling rich does to you within, because you then start to be that person, act like that person, and you attract the riches of that person as a natural result of what you do. But you do have to make a bit of effort, by the way.
Yeah.
You still have to take action. It doesn't just happen to you. Oh, riches,
No.
riches are going to come to me. Why am I no rich yet? Well, you've
'Cause
only
you're
got
not
two
doing that.
joysticks, and all you're doing is chanting in a room on your own, and nobody knows. How's that going to come to you? There is a wee bit, that's tongue in cheek. But I tell you
Yeah.
what, doing that in meditation and all the rest of it actually helps as well, because then it lets you see opportunities. It lets you
Yeah.
see all that opportunity around about you, because you're now beginning to be very focused. Now, let me talk about focus.
Mhm.
Pick a space on your wall right now and stare, or even a picture, and stare at that picture or stare at that wall. The picture's the good one. Stare at it all the time. Stare at that picture. Keep staring at it. Keep staring at it. Keep staring at it. And don't take your eyes off it, and don't blink. And keep doing that. Now look away to somewhere else. And you still see that picture for a while.
Yeah.
You see the blur and the outline. That's what focus gives you. That steady focus on anything, on any goal that you're after, and this fake it till you make it thing, and think rich, and the wealth of the wealth of gratitude as well. Being grateful for what you've got is a really important thing. Tony Robbins talks about it quite a lot, and he
Yeah.
talks about having gratitude, and a lot of people come on and say it as well, and you go, God, spare me the lecture about gratitude. And it's easy. Even I do that as well. Oh God, spare me. Spare me the turmoil of gratitude. I know all about gratitude. Yes, but are you doing something about it? That's my point. What have you done?
Mhm.
Diddly squat. It's nothing to do with Clarkson, by the way. It's it's just gratitude. You need to have gratitude for something. I mean, when I was away in Blair Athol, sitting on my own in a camper van, chanting to myself, nobody in sight. That's the type of things I do, and it gives me time to reflect and think, and it's great because I really did. I really did start to think about the people I have around about me and the gratitude I have, and people like yourself, Richard, and how thankful I should be for having these people in my life. And I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's the type of thing you begins to humble you a wee bit. And see, there's another word that I never. Oh, humble.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's true though. It's it makes you feel centered. It makes you all feel grateful for other people and what they can help you achieve and what you can help them achieve as well. It's a two-way street here.
Yeah.
This isn't about what you can take. It's about what you can give to someone else. And reciprocal usually happens as a natural result of what you do. I've seen a lot of posts at the weekend about this, about the starting rich and all the rest of it, and fake it till you make it. And one of them was actually coming up several times about, this person, and she's a really great person. She'll do anything for everybody. She works herself with the bones. But now and again, you see posts from her saying, why do I bother? Folk just take advantage of me all the time. And I just went on and said, you need to learn to say no to the right people. Need to learn to say no to the right people, because the right people, I mean, no to the
wrong people.
really the right wrong people, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. The wrong is a right. Is it two negatives and a positive? I don't know. Anyway, apart from that, it's a real comedic session today. It's my alternative comedy. Rick Mayo and that coming back to me, and Ed Edmondson for the young ones. Anyway. So start rich, fake it to make it. So she came on and said that. I said, you need to say no to the people, the right wrong people. You need to learn to say no to these people and just tell them, no, I'm not doing it. Forget it. We don't want you anymore. And I actually responded back to him and says, wouldn't it be great if everybody just, their whole goal in life was to help someone else achieve?
Because everybody would help each other, another.
Yes.
Yeah.
If your whole goal in life was to help someone else achieve, how many wars do you think there would be? None.
No.
How much poverty do you think there would be? None.
No.
How much homelessness do you think there'd be? None. How much starvation do you think there'd be? None. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's a utopian dream, really, at the end of the day, and we are humans and we think differently. Well, I don't think differently, to be honest. I think like that. I think there is a day, or there is people out there that are genuinely like me as well, and they want to do as much as possible and help someone as much as possible. But then you begin to realize that people can only be helped to the stage that they want to be helped, and you can't nail jelly to the wall.
Yeah,
That's
and it's when I listen to you talk about this lady who says that she's like obviously really deflated and doing what she's doing and wondering why she's doing it, and it's true what you say, because she's trying to help everybody, and then certain people that are actually just there to take from her and not give back or pass on, and that's what's obviously bringing her morale down in what she's doing and changes it.
It's possibly for anybody out there tuning in, it's possibly a family member that you don't want to let down and you don't want to say no to. It's probably a best friend that you don't want to say no to either. And all these years, all they've done is take a loan of you and take advantage of you and your good nature. And they don't realize they're doing it because that's the way it is. That's the relationship. Just like you have a parent and a child. That's the relationship that's been established between you and that person. So you need to break that relationship and break that cycle. God, we're getting into a total different thing here. Eh?
Yeah.
Break that relationship and break that cycle and begin to say, no, not doing it.
And no is one of the most difficult things to say to people. And a lot of people struggle with it.
And you don't even need to say things like, I'm sorry, I've not got time. Just say, I've not got time.
Yeah.
Don't apologise for it. I find myself doing that sometimes when I'm about to go on. Apologies for, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, what am I apologising for?
Yeah.
It's like, I've not got, but it seems a human nature thing to do. I'm no needing to apologise. I've not done anything wrong here. And so you need to watch out for that. But this is all about the fake it till you make it and start rich, and understanding and participating in daily habits that will present these opportunities and learn really to be fully appreciative of life itself.
Yeah.
Next one, Richard. What's the next one? Then your top 6 principles.
Quite nicely there. You actually started to touch on it a wee bit, and it was about accepting responsibility. And whether that's yourself or making people around you realise that they need to accept responsibility for stuff rather than you obviously covering for them, or maybe taking that responsibility for them and then taking you away from what you're going to do. I mean, it's really time to really absolutely despise being normal as well. Do you know, a lot of people just kind of conform into this normal thing that society wants me to be. And if you want to be successful and you want to achieve your ambitions and have extra income and be successful, then you need to not be average and think out the box, and refuse to kind of live the mediocre life, and avoid living like the majority of people do, unfortunately, if you want to be in that top bracket of people.
It sounds horrible, eh? Average, mediocre life. And it's like, but unfortunately, that's where we end up. We just don't acknowledge it to ourselves. We don't actually, we're not honest with ourselves. That, I think that's the thing. I used to be like this as well a lot of times. I was never honest in where I was right at that point in time. No one wants to be honest because no one wants to admit they're just average or they're below average. So what happens is you usually have a culture of people who actually fight against the system and actually say it's everyone else's fault except theirs. Well, here's the bad news and here's the good news. It's your fault.
Yeah.
But you can do something about it.
See, hearing that, when people hear that, that's a tough pill to swallow. It's your fault. When you think, and instead of blaming anybody else, depending on what the situation is, and then to actually realise I'm the problem, I need to sort what I'm doing.
You are where you are because of the decisions that you've taken throughout life, or the decisions that you've allowed other people to take for you. That's why you are where you are right now. So what are you going to do about it? That's the key. It's not, oh my God.
Wallow.
It's like, it's no the pity party stuff. It's no the I'm not getting down in the hole with you and having a pity party with you. I'll put a ladder down and let you get out of this hole that you're in mentally, and give you the tools to move forward. But the key here is you have to accept responsibility for where you just have to be honest with yourself. But don't beat yourself up like I used to do. God, I still do it.
But then again,
I still do it. I still beat myself up sometimes mentally. It's like, what? Why are you bothered, Jim? Flipping heck, you could be sitting on a beach for the rest of your life. Do you really think it's that? Just a simple comment on Facebook. What? And it still bothers me.
Yeah.
What planet are you on, Jim? Just ignore them. And that's what people should be doing. Just ignore them. It's hurtful. This old thing about what was it I used to say? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never harm me. And I used to go, it bloody well does.
Yeah. I think
and that's what we were all taught. And it's like, but now we realize it's like, yeah, it does. But what you need to understand is someone else's opinion of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
That's their problem, not yours. Because if you know what type of person you are, and you're honest and decent, and you'll help someone else, and you'll do your best, that's all you can do. What they think of you is entirely none of your business, and just leave them their own devices. That's what ban and delete and block on Facebook are for.
Yeah.
Don't listen to their shite anymore. Just ignore it. Just like block them. Who cares? Oh, you've blocked me. You've blocked you, all right, because you're a negative. You're a negative idiot.
Yeah. And do you know, having that realization when you're honest with yourself and realizing maybe yourself that's the problem or whatever, and taking responsibility of that. But it does all then come back to actually taking action. Sean said in the comments there, take responsibility and act on it. Yeah, absolutely, Sean.
This is quite an interesting one. I've never been a fan of saying I am the problem, because then you're putting yourself down by saying that. I would more deliver that in I need to do something about it. So, I am where I am, so I need to do something about it. Not I am where I am because I am the problem. Because that's, how that kind of drags you down. Yeah. So it's all about reading the right books, listening to the right podcast in order to change your language subtly in order to elevate your position mentally. That's what it's about. It's a subtle difference in how you word things. Now, I've caught you sometimes saying things. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. What are you telling yourself right now? What are you telling yourself right now? Just think about that. What's going into your mind about what you've just said right now? So you have to be careful. And that's fine. And you could be like that and analytical and critical over these years, but it'll elevate you and help you get to that higher plane. That, some people are just born and, and they're gifted in the fact that they don't have all the baggage that you've got on your back because you've collected over the years of maybe verbal abuse, the physical abuse, and you've got these massive, bags on your shoulders and weights on your shoulders, and you're carrying about, and it's almost like you're carrying about as your excuse not to do anything. Or to be the person that you are right now. Well, now is the day, today, where you can offload that shit and move on. Just let go of it. Get rid of it. It's not going to, the past is in the past, and there's absolutely no future in it.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And there's a lot of things that people allow to hold them back. And you're absolutely right, Jim, and it's true. It's like even the words. There's certain words and things, and you've picked me up, and you've spent a lot of time analysing how you talk and how other people talk and how it affects yourself and the people around you, and just certain words and terminology. And that's right, but we all fall into that trap. and it's because it's done around us so often and from when we're young. So, but
it's human nature for everybody to pull everybody else down to their level, especially if you're in a peer group. You know, if I disappeared into the ether and actually sat out in the street with all the people that were not too faring well, in other words, homeless and drugs and all the rest of it, I would probably end up being like them after about 2 or 3 years of thinking like them.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to fall into that. And everybody thinks, how is that possible? Come on, really? It will. It does. It overtakes you, because over a period of time, your brain gets worn down and your defenses get worn down. And eventually you start to seek approval. Your brain does it without you knowing it. You want approval and you want love from someone else. Hence the reason why people continually go back to a person that abuses them.
Yeah.
Because they tell them they love them. And it's like, oh, I love you. Oh, I love you, though. And they give you, oh, but he loves me. It's like, oh, and I hate to say it, but he loves me, because that's most of the time where it comes from.
Yeah,
it's like,
not to be,
And this is my point. It's like, just accept responsibility. But now is the day that you can change. And the change is where it's going to get you to the next level. The person that you've become now is not the person that's going to get you to the next steps of where you want to become later on. Because that person's got you to here. But that person's not going to help you get to the next stage. You have to become that person to get to wherever it is you're going next. And that takes time, effort over a period of time. And as soon as somebody, effort, wait a minute, I've got to do work. What? No. It's like, I tell you what, I'd rather do that and continually improve over a period of time than actually stay where I am right now. Well, mind you, actually, I'd be nice and comfortable where I am right now, to be honest. So what drives me out of my comfort zone? Well, because I have bigger aspirations, I suppose. So as you climb that mountain, you know, you get to one summit, and the next minute you're over that summit, and you've got another summit, and that's kind of where your goals are. That's what happened to me at 38-year-old when I retired from industry. You know, I was a millionaire at that time, and I didn't even know it. But I retired, and I had 6 times the income I had working full time. But I never had anything else to do. I never thought about it. I never had another summit to climb, so it almost killed me. You know, in terms of mental torture over a period of a year. And then, luckily enough, flipping heck, I bumped into somebody who was actually a really successful estate agent, which wanted to start up an estate agency on his own. And I thought, oh, I'll come in with you if you want. I need something to do. It's like, lo and behold, I'm now sitting here.
Well, yeah, I know how it turned out, but do you think at that point it gave you a wee bit of purpose again?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And then the things that I always used to watch, and I still watch them now. I watch Undercover Boss and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I watch Secret Millionaire. I used to watch that all the time. Kevin Green was on it, one of my friends. And I used to watch that all the time. And I thought, God, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I'd love to be that person.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'd love to be the person that's going to solve somebody else's problem for them. And it's just me. That's who I am. But it takes money to do that. And that's why the acquisition of money is so important to me. And the fact that if I've got the money, then I could help someone else get what they need to get.
It does really make a lot of sense that I mean, obviously it's a nice thing, but you enjoy doing that because, well, at heart, you're a problem solver. And you love to solve everything every problem that's in front of you. So to help other people solve their problems, and whether it's financially or where their position is in life and things, then that totally makes sense that that's something that appeals to you.
Yeah. Okay. So we've covered kind of the accept responsibility. You are where you are, and you need to move on. So what's number 3 then in this?
Yeah. So just to recap on the responsibility, I think really you need to determine where you are. Why you are where you are, stop blaming yourself, and become relentless to change it. And that's probably the roundup of that. The next thing is really to gain a competitive edge. And like everything in life, if you're building wealth and you've got your ambitions and things, you really need to master yourself. And you'll see that people gain their competitive advantage by consistently training and not becoming just mentally strong, but physically strong as well. Do you know, if you've got a healthy and strong body, you feel 100 times better, and I've learned that myself over the years as well.
Okay, so are you telling me that's the case, or are you just asking me is that the case?
I'm just going to say what it kind of, for me, it's the same thing when we think about our mind. When you put negative things in, negative's going to come out, and the same with your body and physically. you put, well, we'll say it, you put shit in, you put shit out. Do you know, it's like if you're going to put
You do.
toxins, junk food, and things in
Yeah.
your body, you've got no drive. You feel tired. Your mental capacity then has a knock-on effect for that as well. And
Think about the crap that people buy at the shops. The worst place you could ever go is Iceland.
it's awful.
McDonald's, Iceland, all these cheap discounters that sell stuff. It's full of all the crap and toxins of the day, and then all the carbohydrates of the day, all the things that are bad for your body, and then you wonder why obesity is so rife just now, and then why the NHS is overwhelmed, not with that, but just with things like heart disease. Heart disease is the biggest thing in Britain, and yet we're not even talking about it. Stress. All these different things. Stress actually comes from poor diet as well. You know, so all these different things are as a result of what we do. Now, people can go there straight away and go, well, it costs far too much to eat clean and eat fresh food. No, it doesn't. You can go to Aldi's and you can go to Lidl's anytime you want, and you can pick up a can of chickpeas for next to nothing, because nobody wants chickpeas, by the way, except the vegans and the vegetarians. No one else wants chickpeas, you see, and that's why they're so cheap. Because of that, and they're just in a tin, and you can even take the liquid and turn it into meringues. Did you know that?
I didn't know that,
Chickpea liquid.
Instead of egg whites,
yeah, you can make meringue with it, because it mimics egg white. So you can actually eat meringues as well. So you can have vegan meringues. It's brilliant. But my point is, that's what it is. It's the competitive edge you talked about. Everybody thinks straight away it's like when you compete. I immediately go back to my school sports days when I'm running up against 5 or 6 other people. Yeah. And in actual fact, you're not competing against these people when we talk about this. You're competing against yourself.
Yeah.
To be better tomorrow than you are today. That's gaining the competitive edge. When I go in the swimming pool and I swim a mile every single week in the swimming pool, I don't sit and look at anybody else and see if I could beat them. I don't come out and go, what time did you get? And then go, oh, well, I only got about 10 seconds less. Hey, I beat you. I don't go things like that. When I list property and stuff like that, I really don't. See, when I first started in a state agency, it was all about, I want to beat my competitors. And it was all about focusing on them all the time. That's all I ever did. All my energy, all my efforts were focused on what are they doing here and what are they doing there. And it's like, now it's like, well, I didn't want to be them. I don't want to mimic them. Yeah. I want to be me, and I want to have my style, and I'll attract the right audience, because I don't need 6,000 house sales a year in Fife. I'll need 200 to 300 house sales a year, and that's all me. That's all I want. And I want to deal with the people that want to deal with me. I don't want to deal with everybody. Yeah, that is a competitive edge. You're standing out from the crowd. You're different from everybody else because of the way you do things and the actions. Actions speak louder than words, by the way. Yeah. What you do, or what you do shouts so loudly, I can't hear what you say. Mm-hmm. That's really key here when it comes to the competitive edge. It's been the best. Could you imagine? Frank Dick talked about this. I remember Frank Dick talking from stage. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago in his book Winning. Yeah. And he was on some sort of video the other day, and I showed you. But Frank Dick was quite important. He says he showed me. He was showing a video on the screen. He says, look at everybody running past the finish line. Look at all these people competing against each other. And he says, do you think they're competing against each other? And we were all going, yeah, they are. They definitely are. And it's like, so if they're competing against each other, why are they kissing and cuddling each other at the end of the line? Why are they throwing their arms around each other, saying congratulations? Why is the last person coming in getting a cheer from them all if they're competing against each other? Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I'm like, I never really thought about it like that. It's, because if you're competing against someone else, it's usually, I got the best of you, isn't it? And it's like, you have to lose in order for me to win. No. That is not competition. That is not competing. You have to win. I was reading Richard Branson this morning, Finding My Virginity, and it was actually a good one about most of the industries that he competes in with other industry leaders. He actually gets on really well with all of them. They're all best pals. even though they're rivals in the same industry, in the airline industry, in the train industry, and mobile phone industry, all these different things that he's in, he is best pals with all these people, except for BA. But that's a historical thing.
Yeah, I know.
Back to the Dirty Tricks campaign, and also back to the COVID campaign. They did the same dirty tricks in the COVID campaign and COVID as well. While BA, this is a really good one actually, and I'm going to say this publicly, while BA sought to get bailed out by the government, they deliberately engineered it to make sure that Virgin wouldn't get bailed out by a bailout loan by the UK government.
Really?
Aye, they said Willie Walsh got up, the chairman of the BA, and actually said, or IGA, the group that actually runs them, and said, we don't need any bailout from the government. It's not appropriate. We think as an airline, we should help ourselves. And I think everybody else should do that. And then Virgin was kiboshed, and that's why they did it. And the next minute through the back door, they got 1.2 billion from the UK government.
Mm-hmm.
And they deliberately did that.
Yeah.
So Virgin wouldn't get bailed out, so they had to refinance and do it for themselves and sell off some of their key businesses and stuff like that in order to keep their business going, when BA deliberately did that. So it just shows you've got different types of competitors. Now, do you think BA, obviously, they're a big organisation and do what they do, but do you think anybody that has new ideas want to gravitate towards BA to work with? Probably pretty unlikely.
No,
because all they'll do is shaft them.
Play dirty, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they'll just take it off them. So you'll only do business with people you like and people you get on and people you see are honest and forthright and their actions will speak louder than words. No matter what comes out their mouth, what they're doing to someone else will be clearly seen, and people know that, and they're no daft, and they'll see that. So if you're that type of person and you want to push somebody else down in order for you to succeed, you're not going to succeed in anything. You're going to be an island all on your own, by the way.
Yeah.
If
Do you know it's really funny, and obviously it resonates quite a lot with me. And when we talk about competitive, and especially in our industry and agents and things, and that was when you started, that was your mindset. But you always taught me, don't worry about what other agents are doing, just concentrate on what you're doing, and try and just keep being better at what you're doing. And I haven't ever. And sometimes I'll speak to other agents or whatever in conversation, and I'm really forthcoming and quite obviously nice and thing. And sometimes I can see it in their face, and they're like, "Well, I'm meant to be your competition. Why are you being nice to me?" And I'm like, "Well, you're not my competition."
It's funny.
It's weird, and you can totally see it.
You want to tell me? Why would you want to help me?
Yeah. So it's quite a strange one.
I get a real laugh at it. Honestly, I get that gives me more enjoyment than anything. Seeing people was like, why are you being nice to me?
Mm-hmm,
like, why no?
But what's good is you pass that on to me, because if not, I probably would have started with that same attitude as well.
That's what makes life so interesting when you see other. I mean, I love the fact that understanding the dynamics and other people and how they tick and how they think, and doing these wee experiments now and again and helping someone out and seeing their reaction. It tells you a lot about that person. Instantly enough, actually, Richard talks about it as well. I can't help referring to him, obviously, because I've been one, and we've played tennis together and stuff like that. But he was like, "Let's play a game of chess," and I'm like, "I'm not a grandmaster like you." It's like, "You'll just beat me." And he said, "No, I'll tell you what you should be doing and how you should be doing it." And I went, and he actually said to me later on, I think it was at the breakfast table one morning, he says, you can tell a lot about the person, about their approach when you ask them to do something, if they've not done it for the first time. He says, you can tell a lot about them. And I went away and thought about that. I thought, because some people will just go, no, I can't do it, and no do it. And then therefore there'll not be that entrepreneurial spirit. They'll not be determined. They'll not be tenacious. And it was all about who he employs and stuff like that. He says, so that's how I can tell a lot about people when I employ them, or I'll make an offer to them, because he knows that that's the type of person they are based on what they do in their day-to-day life. And this is the crap that you get told about this fact that your work life is separate from your personal life. Utter bullshit. It's not. You can't be a different person at work than you are at home. It's practically impossible. It'll drive you nuts You'll be completely stressed all the time because you'll be trying to pretend that you're some other person at work and some other person in your life. It's like that's why most people are miserable in their job, because they're not the person that are at home. They have to be at work in order to perform their job. So that's why they don't like their job, because they're doing something they don't like. You know, typical example, credit control, stuff like that. It's like, oh God, I've got to chase these people every day. Or social work. It's like, and then they go home and they're completely different. And social work doesn't align with them either. But it's like, oh, now I've bought all these things, like a big house, a fancy car, and I've got them all on credit. I've got to keep doing that job because I can't get anything else that pays any better.
Yeah. And then you're stuck in that cycle. And that's
why do you think Diageo, and the biggest employer in Leaving, pays you a really good salary to work on the production line? And why do they encourage you to get a house and get a car and get married and have children? Because you're stuck on their production line for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because they're paying you a really good salary and you can't move anywhere else because there's nobody local that can give you that type of money. That's why they pay you that.
You put yourself to this level of lifestyle. No one else is going to pay you enough to sustain it. So you're stuck.
Hence the reason why I say to you, flipping out, didn't buy a bigger house. It's like that's the last thing. If you didn't need it, didn't buy it, because it gives you a lot of choices. What happens is like, oh well, I can't go back and retrain. I can't go back to university. I can't go back to college. I can't do anything else because I've got to keep on this hamster wheel and keep working because I can't afford to leave or doing. We can't afford to have kids. I've had people say that as well. We used to say that, Elaine and I. Tony was born in 1993, and then it was 1999 before we had another child because we couldn't afford it. Because we'd lived beyond our means at that time. We'd bought the biggest mortgage we can get. It was 20 grand at the time. It's like, it's like a lot of money because you were paying like 15% interest rates. You're paying 50% interest rates, and your salary was only about 8 grand a year. But we'd gone way beyond our means, and then that's when I realised it's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is know how to do this, and that's when I took the double take and thought, right. In order to be competitive, I need to focus on myself. I need to sort myself out in order to sort somebody else out. Classic example in the airplane. Oxygen mask drops down. Put your oxygen mask on first so you can put your oxygen mask on someone else. Don't try someone else because you'll be dead before you get that, and they'll be dead as well. So make sure you get yourself right first before you start to get everybody else right. That's a lesson for everybody out there, by the way. Make sure you get your own house in order before you start to organise somebody else's house. And that'll probably be never, by the way. So keep your opinions to yourself about someone else. That's probably the right thing. I mean, entrepreneurs must understand how money works as well. You know, this is a competitive advantage. It's important. You know, people go, "Oh, I'm no money. I don't manage my money very, very well." It's like, well, you'll have to learn. I'll tell you what, because if you don't discipline yourself with your money, you're going to lose it all, and you're going to be on stony broke for the rest of your life and working for someone else, and actually never be able to retire and be completely stressed all the time. And if that's the type of lifestyle you want, then just keep doing what you're doing and just keep following what you're telling you to do. Take a good look at the most important person in your life that's influencing you right now. If you want to be that person, if you want the things that they've got and you want the income that they've got, then take their advice. Otherwise, don't listen to a word that they say. They cannot advise you to get where you are because they are not there already themselves.
So the competitive edge thing, I mean, like we've said, obviously it's all about your mental and physical strength and things, but do you know, this is all achieved through continual learning, mastering the most important success principles and things. And in order to stay sharp and 100% focused on your goals and, you know, becoming physically strong, you have to have the energy and the stamina necessary to operate, you know, at the highest levels sometimes. Don't do it all the time, you burn yourself out. But, you know, you have to have the ability to be able to do that. And that all comes with mental and physical strength. So that gives you the competitive edge.
That's why I tend to cycle and I tend to run. It's like I was out at Blair Athol and I've got my uncle's had it, and I was going out on my mountain bike and I got a mile in and I thought to myself, oh God, I just want to turn back. And I thought, no, don't you dare, Jim. That's what I was saying to myself. Don't you dare, because you've given up and you are not a person that gives up. So I just cycled away out for 6 miles, and then I saw away in the horizon. I thought, oh, the rain's coming in. So then I had a wee bit to eat against, beside the river. Just listened to everything that was going on. It was just sheep everywhere, to be honest. Talked to a guy with his sheepdogs. He's out there as well. Had a wee word with him. I cycled all the way back, and I loved it.
Do you know what I was just going to say, Jim? You went away a day or two, however long you were away. You've worked on your physical side of things. You said you spent a wee bit of time having a wee bit
mental
of
toughness.
time and worked. Do you know? And how much better do you feel for it today? Now you're back.
Of course, it's mental toughness. It allows you to take time out. Now, I've got in my diary about planning time this morning and about thinking time in the afternoon, and the wealth creation shows in between every Monday. And it's like, who does that? And I learned that from Keith Cunningham, Rich Dad, because he says, do you know I actually have a slot? I actually plan, just physically for thinking time. And it's like, who does that? And I tell you, who does that? Branson, Musk, Bezos. Everybody, it's all these extremely successful people. Gates are all the people that actually have thinking time. They actually put it in their diary. Thinking time. It's like no one else is getting in this space at all ever. That is my time to think. Even if I'm sitting watching the telly, I'm thinking, or I'm learning about something new. That is the most important thing for you. If you don't know, if you fail to plan, you definitely plan to fail. And thinking time gives you that opportunity to plan for that. So
that makes absolute sense.
And tenacity as well at the same time. So this takes us on to number 4 for you, which is develop mental fortitude.
Yeah.
This for me is everything. If you have not got your head right, nothing else will change in your life. That's key. Because your physical body and your physical presence, if that changes, that won't make any difference to you at all. You might look a bit more buff if you've been in the gym or anything like that. You might be a bit more physically fit, but it won't help you. Everything comes from your mind. That's the key here. And it's the mind you've got to overcome, because that's the thing that drives everything else. You don't have your mind, your heart will stop beating.
Because it's the mind that's telling the heart to beat.
Yeah. If you don't have a mind, your arm won't move. Now, if your arm won't move anyway because something paralyzing you still got your mind. You still be able to do something. You'll just work on another way to do it. But that's where everything goes on, and this is why it's developing this mental fortitude and continuous learning over a period of time is the most important things for you. And the mental fortitude comes from, and as I said before, like I'm going away with my bike, and it's like I didn't really want to go with my bike. It's shitty weather. It's like, but no, I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it. I'm going to make myself do it. And it gives you a sense of achievement because you've done something that you didn't want to do. And it's like, no, I got out there and did it. And then that develops tenacity and discipline. If you don't develop the ability to discipline yourself, someone else will discipline you for the rest of your life, whether it's a partner, whether it's a boss, or whether it's a parent, or whether it's a bank manager, or anything like that. They won't be the person that will discipline you if you don't develop the key way to discipline yourself. So learn to have discipline, learn to apply it consistently as well, and just get on with it. Just do it. Just start in wee steps. We've talked about all this before, about baby steps. Just do something every day consistently, even if it's like, this is how I do this every single day, and just keep doing that every single day. Whether it's doing 10 sit-ups or 10 push-ups, just do that every day and keep doing it all the time. Do that for 6 months. That develops the ability to discipline. And then that builds up a neural pathway in your mind about discipline. And then everything else you start to bolt onto that habit then starts to develop that habit even more about discipline. And that gets stronger and stronger, that link every single time as a result of that.
It's because I'm reading this at the moment. So
Atomic Habits,
and it's James Clear. Habit stuff.
Yeah. And that develops tenacity overall. I mean, it's undeniable that the majority of people that have got the mental capacity and the mental tenacity and the strength mentally to weather any storm out of that.
Yeah.
What's the good excuses that people make for themselves? Richard, you come up with some for me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, well, spending money is one, and it's like, do you know, you really need to think about, like, when you're purchasing things, people spend money on just a lot of stuff that they do not need. Think about when you purchase something. Is it for short-term pleasure? Is it for long-term wealth? Do you know, is it an intelligent or is it an emotional purchase? Do you know, there are things. Do you know, before you buy things, and I'm so guilty of it because I buy stuff and I'm like, I didn't need to buy that.
I had somebody. I posted a picture of my camper van at the weekend, and I had somebody come on and posted a picture of their camper van. Says that's the camper van you kind of want, and I was like, "All right, you win. Yours is bigger than mine." But honestly, this person got into a pissing contest with me, and I was like, to be honest, I bought a camper van. It'll appreciate in money over the years because it's a T25 981 camper van. You bought a camper van; it's a depreciating asset. So who do you think? If you want to be a winner, who do you think's a winner out of that decision? And then they went on about, but it's for my family, and there's a lot more people that can get in that. And I went, I couldn't care less. I never started this. You did. It's like, I just want a camper van so I can go away and I can have a man cave that's mobile.
Yeah, basically.
That's it. And I could have all my
fun.
My toaster, my kettle, my heater, my television, my stereo, my anchor speakers, my cooker, my fridge. It's like everything. It's like you wouldn't want when you sat in this thing and you're all on your own in the middle of nowhere. And I've even got an instant hot shower as well that I can have for outside. It draws it from the river. So I've got a combi boiler that comes with it. So I could pop up the tent and I can have a nice hot shower straight from the river.
And that's where it comes in as well. People purchasing things because of the way society is judging them on what they've got and what they possess. And it's like, just ignore all that. If you like, because like somebody wants to buy a camper van, I'll have to get the biggest and the best or better than so and so's. And it's like, just get one that'll suit you and get you to where you want to go.
Hire one for the time that you need it, and then hand it back because you're probably not going to read it for the rest of 2 or 3 years after that, and just keep hiring it if you want. It's like it's absolutely crazy. So you've got to think about: is this really develop that mental fortitude? Is truly successful people have that undeniable mental fortitude. Definitely, they ask powerful questions. Like in the brainstorm, they find solutions rather than looking for excuses. Every single time somebody gives me an excuse, I always give them a solution. It's quite irritating for a lot of people, actually, because it's like, I didn't let them away with anything. As you'll know, Richard.
Yeah, I'm aware.
But it's true. If you don't want a solution to anything, then I'm the last person you should be asking. Because I tell you what, I'll give you a solution to everything every single time. My objective in life is to solve everyone else's problems, or not solve it for them, but actually give them the tools to do it. And this is why I love house sales, because house sales isn't really about selling the house. It's about how to manage their life as it's happening right now and keep it on track and sell their house at the same time. And a lot of people, because it's a lot of turmoil, it's a big stressful thing, as well as marriage and having children, starting a new job and breaking up. These are all the things, and death. These are all the things that actually put people off a track. So how do I help people stay on track while selling their house or investing in property at the same time and building wealth over a period of time? That's the sort of things we talk about. And that's what developing mental fortitude is all about. And how much value you provide to your clients and how productive is your team as they can be and all these different things. But the key here as well, let's jump on to the next one because we're going to be running out of time soon, is be selective. The biggest mistake entrepreneurs make, and I'm going to say this, is accepting or paying for financial advice from those who don't have the financial freedom or the respectable level of net worth that they're after.
Yeah.
The gurus.
You push that all the time, Jim. And
the gurus. For God's sake, why are you learning from somebody that doesn't even have the wealth that you're after? They've got no chance. They could tell you they could tell you anything you want, but have they got the wealth that you want? No. Well, how could they teach you It's like some guy that's on the dole in the pub giving you financial advice.
Why would you listen
Now,
to someone that
you'll
doesn't
not
have it?
remember these times, Richard, but do you know there was a time where people used to stand in the pub and speak to their doctor or their solicitor, and they would ask them about their investments? What does a doctor or solicitor know about investments?
Yeah.
They know nothing unless their wealth as it is. But they used to take their advice and they used to go and do things, stupid things like that, and listen to them. It's
Do you
like
think that's
me
just
going
because they were in a place, they were in a position of authority, they thought that they knew better?
well, it's like a brain surgeon going to a joiner and saying, how do I do this operation? Or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
That's sort of a classic example. And that's what it is. So be very, very selective about who you're actually learning from and taking financial advice from at the same time.
Yeah.
I urge every single person that listens to this and tunes in all the time is like, just go and check me out then. You can look
Mhm.
on Companies House. You can check Parker Housing Limited. And then you can check on directors and you can click on my name and it'll tell you every other company I run. And then when
Mhm.
you download the accounts, you'll be able to see what my net worth is. It's a bit more than that because we own a lot of stuff in our own name as well.
Yeah, I know. But
As we started out. But I tell you what,
demonstrate enough.
it does demonstrate millions, by the way. So clearly straight away, it's like when you say, I'm not a millionaire, it's like, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So I'd say to people, that's the first thing I do is when somebody starts to blow their own trumpet and say how great they are and start to put all these images out, it's like I go straight to their accounts on Companies House because you see it on the bottom of their. You usually find it in their privacy policy, the name of their limited company, or their cookies policy on the bottom of their website. You'll see it somewhere. And it will tell you what their limited company name is or the company registration number or in their terms and conditions. And then you just take that, you put it into Google and it'll come up with Companies House. And then you'll start to see their company. You'll be able to download their accounts. You'll be able to click on them as a director and you'll be able to see the other companies they have. You'll be able to look at their accounts as well. And you can do a quick tally yourself how much it says on the balance sheets. And then straight away, sometimes they're talking shite.
Yeah.
For want of a better phrase.
Yeah, we see it also often, and a lot of people receiving advice and things from, pretenders or gurus or whatever you want to call them. But really, once you clear that noise away, you'll start to find individuals who operate really at a lot higher levels, and they are worth every penny, and they'll help you invest in the proper way and help you get returns that are going to help you out tenfold. So
you probably know how much I spent to get around Richard Branson, or I invested to get around Richard Branson. It's like worth every penny, every penny. And over the years, I've spent probably hundreds of thousands on getting the right advice from the right people, like Keith Cunningham, Rich Dad, like Tony Robbins, Kevin Green. So Kevin was way ahead of me beforehand. I think Kevin's got 300 houses or something like that. Or he's got more. He's got gold and silver and you name it, he's got it. So, these are all people I wanted to get around because it's like, whoa, wait a minute, you've got what I want. I'm going to start listening to what you're saying. It's like, I'm not going to take it all on board because some of the stuff he was doing, I was like, no, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do currency trade and stuff like that. So you take on board what you take on board and you prepare yourself for the future, even though you don't need that information right now. And as I said before, it's like, I was reading my notes again this morning. It's great. When I was going through them about all the different people and all the different things that they said in here. And this is when I was 25. This is over 35. This is about 35 years ago. I wrote all these notes down. I've still got them all. Journals. Who else does journals? Richard Branson.
It's good to look back.
Now, I'm not saying I want to be a mini Branson or anything like that.
But there's a lot to learn.
The thing is, success leaves clues.
Yeah.
For God's sake, if somebody else is so successful, find out what they've done and see how it could work in what you're doing. I don't need to go into the airline industry. The principles and the basics and the fundamentals are exactly the same as what he does, as what everybody else that's successful does as well. You don't need to go into the same industry. You just learn the principles and basics as a result of that.
Yeah.
If you believe money, here's a good one. You've actually written it here. Believe money can solve your problems as an entrepreneur, then prepare for a long, rough ride, because it won't. I often say, if you've got a problem, beat it to death with a bag of money. It should go away. And it sometimes does. Yeah, absolutely. But if you have money without financial intelligence, that can quickly disappear. Easy come, easy go. you have to pay a price in order to build your wealth. If it just comes to you in a lottery win or something like that, then you'll probably find that you'll spend a hell of a lot and it'll disappear and you'll not be as effective as you are because you've never handled that type of money before. It could be the death of you for some people.
Yeah.
It could lead you, and this is why people go, well, money doesn't make you happy. Have you tried it lately? Because it does. It really helps. But the acquisition of money on itself, on the principle, doesn't make you happy. It's what you use it for which makes you happy. It's the feeling you get from using it. So that's why I do the thing about giving money to the community, to the the food banks, to sponsor events that won't go ahead without my money, and without our investment in it. That's the whole point. That's why I do what I do, and I keep doing it as a result of it. It's like, because I love doing what I do, but I like giving it all away. That's the Glastonbury thing about the ticket. It's like, I didn't need the ticket. It's like, I'll get 50 quid for it, but hey, just give it to charity. I'm just going to put it back in my bank. It's like, just give it to somebody that needs it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing for me. Rather than go through all the turmoil of doing all these things, I'd rather just help other people and just be the best version of me I could be, I suppose. That's the type of thing, and I work on that every day, as everybody does, or as everybody should do.
Yeah.
What's the final one then we've got to cover? So let's get this done before we run out of
time.
and
this is quite. Although it's the final one, it's quite a good one. Where if you're starting on your journey or you're just at the beginning, you think, it's a way to kind of get yourself into that routine. And if you're not satisfied with your routine, then stop doing what you're doing.
Routine.
Yeah.
Jerry Scriven used to talk about this. A routine. From the French. A routine. He says, look at the word routine. And he used to say to me, Jim, it's see, at the beginning it has rut in it. He says, routine. It's kind of like a rut, having a routine.
Right.
But he says the problem about being in a rut, it's just as effective as like a grave with the ends kicked out. So be careful you don't get into a routine. It sticks you in that for the rest of your life, because it literally will be a grave with the ends kicked out.
Yeah, so I think you really need to, if you're looking to like access your daily routine, and like I say, if you're not satisfied, change it. But you need to determine the changes that are going to be positive. Take those active steps to create results that you want, and not just a routine for the sake of it being a routine, if that makes sense. Like you say, Jim, you could get into that rut routine. So that's a really important part there, and I think you hit that on the nail. With anybody could do a routine, but you need to do it for the right reasons to get the right results.
You have to do it, because if you do the routine which is destructive to you, then it could cause a lot of problems. Here's a classic routine. It's destructive to you. Is drinking loads of coffee in the morning, which is caffeine, and then going out for a cigarette, which is nicotine.
Yeah.
And then for some people, they actually get up and have a drink as well.
It's scary, but it does. People do it.
And for them, that they think that's I've lasted all these years. Yeah, you've maybe lasted all these years, but you didn't look the healthiest person ever. It's like the object of the exercise is to have a healthy and fulfilling life.
Yeah.
It's not to live as long as possible, but have the last 40 years are absolutely dire, because you can't walk properly, you can't go on a plane because you've got medical difficulties now, and you have to stay in this country, so you can't go abroad, you can't travel or do anything like that. That's not the object of the exercise. The object of the exercise is have a well-rounded, fulfilling life, and actually help the people that you possibly brought into this world, your children, actually be that type of person as well, and guide them and mentor them as at the same time, and not judge them. That they've got their own life to lead. You don't lead your life through them, as my father tried to do that with me. It was like, work in the business. It's like, you can come and work for me for the rest of my life, and I was going to be there. So luckily enough, I had a punch up with my brother, and I left. And it's like the best thing ever happened. It's the best thing that ever happened. It's like I never went back, and then I went to study accountancy, and then the rest is history. So it's all about being productive and being and having these daily habits, daily routines that you do. Urgency. You've written it right here, actually. Develop a sense of urgency and get on your grind to maximize your income by developing a daily routine and sticking to it. You know, object to exercise is for me, example, if somebody's not paid their rent, it's like you need to get onto them and make sure that where is it? It's meant to be in at this time. You know, you're supposed to put it in. That's your obligation. Where is the rent? Now that could seem callous. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. There's a contractual relationship here, a civil contractual relationship. More than anything, I give you a house which is £100,000, and you give me £600 a month to rent that, and I'm giving you £100,000. Who do you think is getting the better deal out of this?
Yeah.
Somebody's accessing the house for £100,000 for £600 a month, and the entry and exit costs of buying and selling, if they wanted to do that, would be prohibitive for the amount of time that they stay in that rented accommodation. So I expect someone to live to their bargain, because I'm going to, if they need a heating system and it breaks down, I'm going to replace it straight away.
Yeah.
If they need something done on an emergency situation, I'm going to get that sorted straight away. So I expect them to adhere to their part of the bargain as well. Is that not a moral code of conduct as well?
Yes, but a lot of people don't follow.
Yeah, well, because a lot of people just live by different standards, I suppose. Because they've been shown it by other people. You do not need to be a product of the people that you grew up with.
Yeah.
You could be different. This is why you get people coming out of poverty, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you're a completely different person from your family. Yeah, obviously, because I changed the way I think, and I started to learn from other people and not surround myself and learn from a family who are deadbeat broke.
Yeah.
Mental. No,
I mean, it's not, no, I know, and it's not to say that people watching everybody's families like that. It's just an example of it's the people around you, whether it be your family, friends, or people that you associate with or associate with. You need to change
more than likely, it's the people you associate with all the time from day to day. It's you just have to protect yourself from some people like that, because they'll pull you down exactly to where they are as well. So if you don't like where they are, don't let them pull you down, and don't associate with them too much. I know they're probably your family, they're probably your friends, but maybe you should choose better friends. You can't choose your family, obviously, but maybe you should stay away from them a wee bit more, or just protect yourself before you go in. Just get yourself prepared. It's like, so you switch off and don't listen to their negative stuff.
Yeah.
So,
but like the daily routine, as kind of, I mean, the right daily routine, is a non-negotiable if you really want to produce good results, if you want to achieve your ambitions and be successful. So I mean, if you want to achieve extraordinary income and success and things, you need to implement these things, and your daily routine is a big part of that. So, and to round up for today, sorry, what you were going to say, Jim?
I think I was going to say to you, and my final thoughts on this, if you implement what you just said there, Richard, these 6 strategies or 6 principles that you talked about, and you took it on board, in the next 5 to 10 years, your life could be completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. For the better. Definitely. The amount of people that actually mentored with me at the same time have accelerated their careers as a result. And where I saw them start and all the rest of it at the same time as me, it was like, wow. And that's what gave me full belief, because I started to see everybody else like that as well. Their careers rocketed. And, it's the same with me. I went from the trainee accountant to a financial director within a short period of time, probably within about 5 or 6 years. And that's kind of unheard of in industry, especially if you've just started out, from a standing start. I mean, that's a standing start from going to college, including that in such a short period of time, and then elevating to a totally different level after that as well, as a result of that. Because it gave me confidence in myself, it gave me faith in myself, and if you have these 2 things, anything's achievable.
Yeah.
Anything's achievable. If you have belief in yourself, you can achieve anything, more than likely. And you'll get some cynics going, well, can you achieve in going into space? It's like, didn't be an idiot. It's like just because you've no got it, don't pull anybody else down. That's the reality. So yes, you never know where it's going to take you. As a result, Back to the Future's got a good one when George McFly says, "If you can accomplish anything if you put your mind to it."
Yeah.
I remember all these wee memes in my head all the time. That's how my process.
You come out with quite a few of them today, actually.
Yeah, that's how my mind works. I
Yeah.
just remember pictorial and video wise and vocal, verbal as well. I just hear it and I see it, and I believe and I genuinely believe it. And that is the voice that I've replaced in my head. So this wee voice at the back of your head, it goes, "What makes you think you're so special? That's not for the likes of us. Don't get ideas above your station. Everybody's done it.
Yeah.
And some people still do it.
Let it hold them back.
Stop it. Get another voice in your head. That's what reading's all about. Mental toughness is all about. And that happens just like running from couch to 5K. You just have to get up and walk. So you just have to get up and do something. Do something positive. Just do wee steps every single day. And in 5 to 10 years' time, you'll come back to me and say, "Oh my God, my life changed forever. For the better."
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jim. And I think people that are on their journey and things, and especially for the start, and if we think about these the 6 principles that we went through, and your bank account has nothing to do with who you are. So start from within and do the start rich thing that we started off with. And like you said, Jim, if you master these 6 principles, watch your ambition quickly transform, and it will transform into income and your desire, and you could live that life of freedom and achieve, as we said earlier, your wildest dreams, really.
Perfect. So when are you going to get started, Richard?
I've already started.
I know. But when you think about it, you could say that to yourself every single day, couldn't you? Because every single day you're going to improve. So when you're going to get started today to improve for tomorrow, when you're going to start tomorrow to improve for the next day, and so on and so forth. But the thing about tomorrow, it never comes. So just keep working for today, but improve yourself today, and tomorrow will be a better day as a result of that.
Definitely. Right, we'll leave it there today. We will be back next week, 12:30 as usual, guys. Thanks everybody for joining in the comments, Sean, Angela, and things. It's always great to keep it interactive. Any questions, you could come direct to me, or if you see us on the reruns, you could jump in the comments. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.